What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 7, and we start today's stuff on the back of our goalless draw away down the road against Leeds. 4 clean sheets for the season now. That's not bad, to be fair, considering how we started the campaign off. And of course, before that, we had a big 3-1 victory at the City Ground as well. So no losses in our last 2 games. Now taking on Frank Lampard's Toffees here against Everton at the City Ground. Heading into the game, looking to return to winning ways here and make it no losses in our last 3. Well, starting the game off, we saw a mini knock for Dale Fry and also saw a contender for goal of the season. Yep, guys, 5 minutes to go before the break, and answers on a postcard. How could I have stopped this? My second free kick goal conceded already in just a few games as well. Demarai Gray, the former Fox, with an absolute beauty. I mean, this is worthy of the hypermotion technology replay. Oh my god, that is an incredible, incredible goal. You know those goals you can see and you're like, yeah, this is ultimate. How do you stop that? Unbelievable. Everton lead by a goal, courtesy of a beauty, and then 4 minutes into the second half, well, from a set piece once again, we are undone. DCL, the former Blade, now at Goodison Park, makes it 2-0 as the Toffees double their lead and get themselves in front from a failed clearance from a corner. We trail by 2. We know we'll need something special to get back in this game, but soon afterwards, we would get back in the game. Tyrese Campbell's first goal for the club came on for Brennan Johnson after we went 2-0 down. His dad used to play for Everton. He played for both Forest and Everton, and he scores against one of his dad's old teams. It's 2-1. We come back from 2-0 down to draw against Southampton. I thought, why not Everton as well? Out of a minute to go. Oh, Colback! What a miss! Jack Colback! Goodness gracious, how did I miss the target with Jack from there? What a let-off for Frank Lampard's Toffees, and wouldn't you just know it, on the other end, Everton get the dagger. Deep, deep, deep into stoppage time. Demarai Gray, the former Fox, winding the Forest fans up. No doubt about it, he's going to love that. Bags his brace, this time from close range, and that would do it. What's that old saying? If you don't take your chances, you will get punished. Case in point, right there. Could have levelled it from 2-0 down and got a 2-2 draw. In the end, Demarai Gray puts the dagger into our hearts. Final score 3-1. Everton comes to City Ground and win, and inflict our second defeat in 3 at the City Ground, which is so frustrating because at the start of the season, the board said they want our home to be a fortress this season. Well, that's our 3rd loss at the City Ground. Interestingly enough, though, the 3 teams we've lost against, West Ham, Newcastle and Everton, not what you'd call traditional top 6 teams, but mainly because we've not really faced many of the top 6 teams at home this season. But even so, 3rd loss at home this season long. A big defeat there to Everton. I was thinking, okay, we're only just above the relegation zone. I think I need to think about something else than what's going on the pitch right now. Go off the pitch and tie up Jesse Lingard. Yep, as we know, signed that 1-year contract at the start of the season. And Jesse this season has been so big. He says, thanks for sitting down and working out a new deal for me. I feel really settled at the club now. And he should. A 1-year deal. You can't settle on a 1-year deal, but now he's got an extra 2. Yep, 2.5 years left on his contract now for Jesse Lingard. And with 2 games to go until the halfway point of the season, only just above the relegation zone. I think I needed that. I really do. I needed to make sure that one of my best players this season with 5 goals and 15 knows his future here is safe for at least another couple of years. He's been that good. He's been that good. To be fair, in the game, 55 grand a week. It's actually not that astronomical. And heading into our second game here away on the south coast against Brighton and Hove Albion. No Graham Potter now, of course. Well, I wanted a response, and what a start. I just gave him the contract extension, and that is why. Jesse Lingard rolls for our top scorer this year, Brennan Johnson, and 6 minutes in, we have the opener. On the back of the loss to the Toffees there, I thought we'd got to respond in this game and not have back-to-back losses away on the south coast. And 13 minutes in, yes, get in! There it is! A first goal for Rhodri Brown out of the academy. He's got 3 assists and now his first goal in professional football. And he scuffed it. He absolutely scuffed it. It was a brilliant ball through by Tyler. The first touch was good, but look at that. Absolutely scuffed it. But it doesn't matter how they go in, so long as they do. Rhodri Brown becomes Nottingham Forest's youngest goal scorer ever at 17 years old. It's a shame you can't see the birth date of your youth players, because Ben Brereton Diaz is actually Forest's youngest goal scorer at 17 years old himself. So I don't know whether Rhodri is younger than Brereton Diaz when he scored this goal or older. I wouldn't know, but I'm going to assume he is, because he only just came out of the academy at 17. Rhodri Brown, Nottingham Forest's youngest goal scorer ever, as he makes it 2-0. And this was a game where, like, I just kind of took my frustration out, I'll be totally honest here. You know, I've said this before, like, you know, there are certain games where, like, when you slip up or when you miss your opportunities or where you get beaten heavily, you go into a next game and you just go at your opponents and you play so aggressive. This was that game. Frustrated that I let that game go through my fingers against Everton when I should have claimed a point through Jack Colback late on. I was going to make amends in this one, and I did. He's not just got 1, he's got 2. Rhodri, brace, Brown gets his 2nd of the game and the season as Lingard gets his 2nd assist as well in a 4-0 victory. And once Brighton went down to 10 men after a cynical tackle from behind, I knew we were going to see this game out, and we did. A brace for Brennan and a brace for Brown. The brace, boys, as we win it by 4 goals to 0. 2 goals and an assist for the 17-year-old in an absolutely flawless display. That was class, absolute class. The first goal, he scuffed it. It was awful. Doesn't matter if they find the back of the net, though, so long as they do. And a huge win, and without a shadow of a doubt, my best performance this year with Nottingham Forest. Like I said, those games, you know, those games that are so frustrating when you lose or you draw or you slip up and you should have won comfortably or you get battered or whatever. That game there against Everton, I was fuming after I lost that game because that miss with Jack Colback was so bad. That should have been 2-2 and a big point there at home, but instead absolutely bottled it. So the following game I was like, I'm not going to lose again. I'm not going to lose again. I'm going to get back to winning ways. You best believe that. And I did with my best performance of the season. That was class, man. I have to say as well, you know, you saw the red card there for that cynical tackle from behind. I have to say, I give props to EA, to be fair, because the AI now, I am noticing they are going to ground a little bit more. The AI literally never slide tackled, ever, last year. They would never do it, on Ultimate at least, but now they're starting to do so, showing frustration, getting aggressive. They were 3-0 down, Brighton. You know, sometimes players lose their discipline when they getting beaten heavily. That's realistic. I like that. You know, we talk about realistic gameplay. That's what we want more of in FIFA. That's realistic. Much more realistic. We're seeing more fouls get committed. We're seeing more cards as well. Much more realistic than what we've seen in previous versions of FIFA. So yeah, big 4-0 win there, and following that, Vincent Kompany's Burnley coming to the City Ground, last 16 of the EFL Cup, and we get through against the Clarets by 2-1. I'll be totally honest, they did not play very well in this game at all. Burnley actually had more chances than we did. Hennessy made a couple of good saves, but we would have seen Emmanuel Dennis once again, top scorer in the Carabao Cup, bang in the first and set up the second. Forest are through to the semi-finals of the EFL Cup. We're in the final 4 of the EFL Cup. Nottingham Forest will be taking on last year's beaten finalists, Chelsea. Yep, Graham Potter's Chelsea in the final 4. Liverpool versus Man City, the other semi-final tie. So obviously, you know, We've certainly had our luck in the cup draws, haven't we? I mean, every single team we faced has been outside the Premier League, but this time the game was like, yeah, enough of this, Docs, mate. Seriously, I've given you the luck by facing those Football League sides. Now you've got no choice but to face a top 6 team. Whoever we would have got, it would have been tough, and it would indeed be Chelsea in the final 4 of the EFL Cup. Last year, lost the final on penalties to Liverpool. It is Graham Potter's side in the final 4. Yep, I think our progress might be ending there. So for the final game of today's episode, facing Arsenal here at the City Ground, aiming to make it back-to-back wins in the Premier League and pick up a big one here against Mikel Arteta's side. What a start for Arsenal this season. Obviously winning the North London derby yesterday 3-1 against Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, they have been tremendous. You know, I said this summer I was so impressed with their transfer business. I think Zinchenko is such a criminally underrated player and always has been. Gabriel Jesus flourishing now that he's getting more minutes and more consistent game time up top as well. Some great transfer business done in the summer from Arteta, and I'm so pleased to see them get off to a great start this season as well. Polar opposite to last year, of course, when they lost their first 3 games and failed to score a goal as well. Great to see Arteta get given a backing by the board, and it's paying off as well. So taking on the Gunners at the City Ground, it's safe to say we did not start this game off well. Yep, Angel Correa scored 2 goals for Arsenal in the first half, getting goals number 10 and 11 for the season. We were 2-0 down. We saw an injury for Ryan Yates as well. It was just one of those games where nothing went according to plan, and we showed that we are not quite where we want to be yet. Heading into the game, obviously, at the City Ground, we better at home than away this season, but taking on the Gunners, well, remember last season, Nottingham Forest played Arsenal in the FA Cup at the City Ground, and of course the Gunners got beaten by the Championship side on their way to an early exit in the FA Cup. Let's just say in their very next game, travelling to Nottingham, they made amends. Yep, Angel Correa scored the first 2, Sambi Lokonga made it 3-0, and then Gabriel Martinelli made it 4. So, our last Premier League game was my best win of the season so far. This was my worst loss of the season so far. Yep, typical, right? 4-0 the final score, created absolutely nothing and got completely dominated. So that will do it for the first half of the season with Nottingham Forest. And despite a big loss there to the Gunners, and there have been some bad defeats this year, including 3-0 at home to Man City and that 5-1 loss? No, 5-2 loss to Chelsea as well. It's not been a bad first half of the season. You individual stats here, Fernandes and Haaland, 12 goals each in the Premier League right now, going for the Golden Boot, both neck and neck. In terms of assists this year, Yuri Tielemans and Ruben Vinagre have 6 each. Rhodri Brown's got 1 more than Cristiano Ronaldo. And in terms of the Golden Glove race, David Hare leads that with 9. Henderson, to be fair, has got the second most amount of clean sheets this year with 5. Been quite critical of Dean this year, to be fair. 5 clean sheets and bad, considering we've got the second worst defensive record in the division. But halfway through, the Red Devils do lead the league, 1 point clear of the champions and 4 clear of Spurs. The Gunners are in 4th with Chelsea, Liverpool and Everton, the remaining teams in the European places. But in the bottom half of the table, in the bottom 3 right now, the Saints are off the board with wins. They've got now their first 2, but are still 8 points off safety. They, Bournemouth and Fulham occupy the bottom 3. We've got 20 points, 4 points clear of Fulham, but with 35 goals getting conceded, the second worst defensive record in division. Halfway through, yes, we're above the bottom 3, but only just, and still with a really leaky defence. Long way to go. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you haven't, like, much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode, where the January transfer window will open very soon.